Transformed into a malicious female antagonist, my entire family is able to hear the protagonist's innermost thoughts. According to the narrative's progression, I should intentionally stumble while ascending the stairs with my sister, subsequently accusing her of having deliberately pushed me. Indeed, as I followed Du Ishue up the staircase, my body uncontrollably tumbled down, rolling from the steps. My parents and older brother gazed at me with eager anticipation, wondering if I would utter the words that echoed in my sister's thoughts. Yet, I simply rose with composure. Apologies, I did not have enough to eat this morning. I am merely experiencing a slight drop in blood sugar. I have traversed into the realm of a novel, assuming the identity of the false heiress Du Qianqian of the Du family group. Due to my rare panda blood, I have been retained within the Du household to serve as a mobile blood bank for my brother, Du Yifan. Before long, the true protagonist of this world, the genuine heiress of the Du family, Du Ishue, has returned. Apart from me, the wicked female antagonist, the entire family can hear Du Ishue's innermost thoughts. According to the narrative, I am to repeatedly slander her before our parents, aiming to incite disdain towards the protagonist from them and my brother. However, armed with the divine perspective granted by the plot, she consistently anticipates my actions and words, leading the Du family to completely lose trust in me. On the very first day of Du Ishue's return, our parents instructed me to show her the room prepared upstairs. I recalled the storyline, realizing that at this moment, the entire family should be privy to Du Ishue's thoughts and awaiting the unfolding of events, as she had described. I intended to subvert the narrative, yet my body inexplicably lost control, causing me to tumble down the staircase. As I rolled down and hit the floor, I discerned a palpable disappointment in the gazes of my parents and brother. They awaited my words, yet not one of them came to my aid. I could only brace myself against my waist and rise awkwardly, mumbling, "I apologize, I didn't eat enough this morning. My blood sugar is a bit low." Du Ishue, taken aback, inquired, "Are you implying that I pushed you and you don't understand why?" Hoping our parents wouldn't be angry with me. The looks from my parents and Du Yifan also bore an air of scrutiny. I merely leaned against the wall, weakly retorting, "Do you suffer from paranoia? I already stated that my blood sugar is low." Subsequently, I gazed at my brother, Du Yifan, with feigned vulnerability. "I'm sorry, brother. I will take care of my health and ensure that no accidents befall you." Upon hearing my words, Du Yifan and our parents approached me with concern. Years ago, their daughter Du Ishue had been stealthily taken by wicked individuals to the mountains, leaving them heartbroken. To alleviate their sorrow, they adopted me from an orphanage, also possessing the rare panda blood. Over the years, they nurtured me with the care of a biological daughter, showering me with affection. Yet, their nurturing and affection also served a purpose, to benefit the Du family group and to function as Du Yifan's mobile blood supply. As a professional race car driver, he naturally relied on me whenever he suffered severe injuries and required blood. With gentle compassion, Du Mama took my hand. "Qianqian, your health is indeed fragile. Henceforth, the large room on the first floor will be yours." In the original plot, upon Du Ishue's return, the family had yet to prepare her room. The original character had offered her own room to Du Ishue in a display of generosity and maturity, intending to evoke sympathy by residing in a storage room. However, to my astonishment, Du Mama had granted me the largest room on the first floor, which also served as the couple's study area. Du Ishue internally scoffed. She will undoubtedly refuse, claiming she is an outsider and insisting on staying in the storage room to elicit pity. Upon hearing Du Ishue's thoughts, my parents and brother exchanged awkward glances, once again scrutinizing my reaction. I embraced Du Mama, playfully pouting. "You are the best, Mama. Qianqian loves you the most. I shall reside in this room downstairs. It is not only convenient, but also closer to brother. Du Yifan and my parents' rooms are all on the first floor," leaving Du Ishue alone in the upstairs room. Her perplexity grew as I deviated from the scripted lines. Grasping my arm, she pressed me. "Didn't you wish to refuse and insist on living in the storage room? Why the sudden change of heart?" She was utterly bewildered by my failure to adhere to the script. I, too, had realized that my actions would only become uncontrollable when triggered by pivotal plot points, while my verbal expressions remained entirely under my control. Which of your ears heard me say I wanted to live in the storage room? Why would I choose to occupy a storage room when a perfectly good room is available? The onlookers regarded Du Ishue with curiosity and unable to bear the pressure. She shoved me in anger. No. You are not a true member of the Du family. How dare you occupy my identity for over a decade? Why should I let you have the largest room upon my return? You are deliberately humiliating me. Why did you even bring me back? She unleashed her grievances upon my parents and Du Yifan indiscriminately. Yet, her disappearance had nothing to do with me. I was merely brought into the Du family from an orphanage afterward. Du Yifan, concerned, lifted me from the ground and chastised Jiang Yixue fiercely. Do not overstep your bounds. You cannot simply lash out and shove people around. Where is your sense of decorum as a young lady? I suspect you were the one who pushed Qianqian just now. Having grown up in the mountains, Du Yixue became even more disrespectful upon hearing Du Yifan's reprimand and retaliated with foul language. The elderly couple felt a headache coming on, particularly the head of the family, Du Zhishu. Enough. That is enough, he declared. The most important thing is for Qianqian to regain her health. She shall live on the first floor, and the entire second floor will belong to you, Yixue. You can decorate it however you wish. Is that fair? Du Yifan snorted derisively, while Du Mama wiped her tears. Upon realizing that the entirety of the second floor would be hers, Du Yixue was momentarily rendered speechless, as its area vastly exceeded mine. Soon, the house would undergo renovations anew. My room merely required a simple arrangement in accordance with its original state. In contrast, Du Yixue's second floor was a grand undertaking, necessitating not only a separate dressing room but also a study, a computer room, and an independent bathroom. The clamor of the renovations disrupted everyone's peace. Aside from Du Yifan, who had quarreled with her, no one dared to confront her. After more than half a month of incessant commotion, the renovations finally ceased. Though her room was established, her wardrobe remained empty, prompting Du Mama to provide her with a card for a year's allowance. Yixue, previously I gave Qianqian and Yifan an allowance of 1 million a year. For the past 18 years we have owed you, and this is our way of making amends. This card contains 20 million. You may spend it as you wish. Du Yixue coldly rejected the card, stating, lost affection cannot be compensated with money. I do not want your money. Du Yifan, who was engrossed in his phone, scoffed. What pretentiousness! If she doesn't want it, just give it to Qianqian. Stung by his words, Du Yixue began to internally deride. Give it to her by all means. Do you believe this Du Qianqian is a virtuous person? Soon, she will sabotage Du Yifan's races, and when disaster strikes, she will feign sacrifice, donating blood to gain the trust of the elderly couple entirely. Once you have bestowed upon her the entirety of the Du family group's fortune, she will cast you aside, leaving you to beg on the streets. Hearing her words, Du Yifan hesitated in handing me the card, while my parents eyed me with newfound wariness. Maintaining my composure, I retrieved the card previously given to me by my parents and extended it to Du Yixue. You claim I have occupied your place for over a decade, and you refuse the compensation our parents offer you. What about my card? Will you take it? Jiang Yixue shot me a glare, snatching the card from my grasp without hesitation. It rightfully belongs to me. You ought to return it. Seeing my actions, my parents' wariness diminished considerably, while Du Yifan realized he had nearly been swayed by her words. Guilt-ridden, he produced his own card. Qianqian, do not let her provoke you. If you need money, use my card. We can share. I smiled graciously as I accepted his kindness, genuinely puzzled as to why the original owner harbored ill intentions towards her biased brother. Was it not preferable to lead a carefree life like a salted fish? Why engage in such troublesome antics? Subsequently, Mother Du took me and Du Yixue to the mall. According to the script, I was initially supposed to enthusiastically select various luxurious garments and jewelry for Du Yixue. However, as we exited the mall, I deliberately concealed an item in Jiang Yixue's bag, intending to humiliate her. Triggering a pivotal plot point, I found myself unable to control my body as it stealthily slipped an exquisite and expensive watch into Jiang Yixue's bag. I yearned to approach the counter to pay, yet I was utterly immobilized. Observing my peculiar demeanor, Du Yixue began to voice her disdain internally. Du Qianqian looks down on me for growing up in the mountains, intentionally hiding unpaid items in my bag, and even slandering my upbringing. Mother Du, noticing my unusual expression, began to harbor suspicions as well. Du Yixue drew near and seized her bag. Let us go. She pulled Mother Du and me towards the store entrance, and indeed, the alarm rang out as we reached the door. Mother Du looked at me in disbelief. The store staff promptly intercepted us. Excuse me, may we ask if there are any unpaid items in your bags? A cold sweat trickled down my back, my heart pounding in trepidation. Du Ishua smirked at me, saying, I have no idea. Shall we check our bags? The staff first rummaged through her bag and, unsurprisingly, unearthed a luxurious watch still bearing its price tag from a hidden compartment. The shock in Mother Du's eyes was unmistakable as she trembled, pointing at the watch. That watch ISNT, but before she could finish, the staff coldly interrupted her. I'm sorry, this watch is not from our store. I'll return it to you. Would you kindly allow us to examine your bags? The staff returned Du Ishua's bag to her, her eyes wide as saucers, bewildered as to why the stolen watch was being returned. When they searched my bag, they discovered a diamond brooch. It turned out I was the one who had stolen. The staff, unable to believe it, stated sternly, Miss, your actions are suspected of theft, and we may need to involve the authorities. I lowered my head in shame. Mother Du stepped forward to shield me. I apologize, this child has not been herself lately. She must have forgotten to pay. Our family is not in need of stealing. We frequently shopped at the store, and the staff knew us well enough not to believe that a wealthy family would engage in such behavior. The staff, sensing the situation, remarked, It seems Miss Qianqian was momentarily distracted and inadvertently placed it in her bag. I'll fetch you an invoice right away. Please hold on for just a moment. Just as it seemed the matter was about to resolve, Du Ishua obstructed the staff from leaving. She pointed at me and exclaimed, She deliberately stole it, intending to frame me by putting it in my bag. Who knows why she hid it in her own bag instead? Don't be deceived. The staff glanced awkwardly at our guardian, Mother Du, who was at a loss for words. Enough of this, Ishua, she implored. Yet Du Ishua remained relentless, pulling the watch from her bag, still with the tags attached. Look, this watch must be something she stole from another store and placed in my bag. As she spoke, the surrounding onlookers began to cast disapproving glances in my direction. Seizing the moment, Du Ishua grasped my hand. Are you trying to slander me? Did I steal it? Speak up. Stop pretending. I heard whispers around us, astonished that two affluent young ladies would resort to theft in a mall. The reputations of both daughters were at stake. And Mother Du reprimanded sternly, That's enough, Ishua. I too began to weep. I'm sorry, Mother. The brooch is indeed mine. I took it because I couldn't afford it. I merely wished to gift it to her discreetly. Both Du Ishua and Mother Du recalled that I had given my card to Du Ishua that morning. She scoffed dismissively. Du Qianqian, you truly are clever. The brooch was stolen to be given to me as a gift, but what about the watch? Wasn't he that meant to frame me? Mother Du could no longer contain herself and slapped the loudly protesting Du Ishua. Be quiet. That watch was a birthday gift for Qianqian from our entire family. She has never worn it, not even removing the tags. Placing it in your bag was her way of secretly gifting it to you. How could you think so poorly of your sister? Du Ishua stared at me in disbelief, throwing the watch to the ground as she ran away in tears. In truth, I had brought the watch with me from the outset, and my body had betrayed me at the moment the plot was triggered. Since I was destined to be the one accused of theft, I might as well own up to the crime. Upon returning home and revealing the entire story, my parents and brother harbored no animosity towards me. They even discreetly returned the card Du Ishua had refused that morning. Qianqian, no matter the reason, you must never steal. It tarnishes a girl's reputation, understand? Since Ishua doesn't want it, you may use this card. I accepted it joyfully. It contained 20 million. I was utterly elated. Du Ishua began to question why the plot did not unfold as originally intended. She approached me alone to demand answers. Du Qianqian, did you plan to throw yourself down the stairs, claiming I pushed you? Were you trying to steal something to frame me in the mall? Looking into her furious eyes, I poured her a cup of tea. Let me ask you this. Why do you always perceive me as the villain? She opened her mouth, unable to articulate a response. According to the script, I was merely a malicious supporting character destined to seize everything from the Du family, while she, endowed with knowledge of the plot and the ability to hear the thoughts of the Du family, became the favored one, aiming to thwart my plans. Since you claim you are not the villain, prove it to me when I enter school tomorrow, she declared before leaving. My head began to ache as I realized I nearly forgot that the original owner presented two entirely different faces, one at home, where she bullied the protagonist with feigned innocence, and another at school, where she openly isolated and ostracized her. What was I to do? The following day at school, The elite class's teacher introduced the newly transferred Du Ishua. She began to internally lament when I returned to my seat. Du Qianqian will surely move my chair to make me fall and embarrass myself. The protagonist group, able to hear Du Ishua's thoughts, exchanged astonished glances, marveling that she had not spoken a word, yet they could discern her thoughts. However, they were also curious about whether I would indeed act as she predicted. As anticipated, my body moved uncontrollably, pulling the chair away just as Du Ishua approached to sit. Wait, don't sit just yet. My classmates and teacher expressed disappointment upon witnessing my actions, yet upon hearing my warning, they became bewildered. I wiped the chair with my sleeve, smiling apologetically. The chair is dirty. Let me clean it before you sit. The teacher and classmates sighed in relief, realizing I merely intended to wipe the chair for my sister. Du Ishua, your sister is so kind to you. Indeed, it seems you are well regarded since returning to the Du family. Your sister is very attentive. Even the teacher concurred. Du Ishua regarded me with suspicion. You clearly intended to pull the chair away to make me fall. Why are you behaving like this? I shook my head in feigned innocence. I meant no such thing. You've misunderstood me, sister. In front of so many witnesses, she had not fallen, leaving her with no evidence to accuse me. With this realization, Du Ishua begrudgingly took her seat to attend class, her mind churning with frustration. Although I currently possess no evidence, just wait. Soon after class, Du Qianqian's minions will undoubtedly unearth a love letter from my drawer, defaming me by claiming I have an affection for the academic prodigy, prompting him to despise me from day one. The classroom was filled with furrowed brows from those who could hear her innermost thoughts. Meanwhile, I remained blissfully unaware of the peculiar stares from my classmates, still reveling in my recent narrow escape. After the bell signaled the end of break, my two closest friends approached me. One of them discreetly gestured towards me. Qianqian, everything is set. Just give me the nod, and I will spring into action. Suddenly, I recalled a segment of the plot concerning the male lead, Jiang Xuanji, the aloof academic genius of our class. Overwhelmed by emotions, I uncontrollably nodded while exclaiming, "No, please don't." Yet, the events unfolded precisely as scripted.
Dixu.
What on earth did you bring on your first day? Oh, what's in your drawer? As she spoke, a letter was dramatically extracted from Du Ishua's drawer and read aloud. Hello, Jiang Xuanji. The moment I laid eyes on you, it felt as if I had seen you in a dream. I like you and sincerely wish to be your friend. P.S. Du family heiress. I sat there, frozen in embarrassment, realizing that the reference to the Du family heiress was indeed about me. As Du Ishua returned, her presence altered the gaze of my classmates towards me. It turned out that her inner thoughts were genuine. Some began to murmur quietly. I can't believe Du Qianqian is really like this. Why is she doing this? She's been living off the identity of the Du family heiress for years, yet she still bullies Du Ishua. Even Jiang Xuanji frowned as he approached, snatching the letter and tossing it into the trash with disdain. He coldly regarded me and stated, how could Du Ishua, on her first day, engage in such behavior? I hope the schemer behind this will cease their antics. Du Ishua finally witnessed a semblance of normalcy in the unfolding drama, collapsing onto her desk in tears, prompting sympathy from the classmates who began to directly blame me. Hey, Du Qianqian, you're being too harsh. She is, after all, your sister. Exactly. Your jealousy is overwhelming. And everything you possess originally belonged to Ishua. I felt as though I was drowning in a sea of accusations. I could only explain. That letter was indeed written by me. Upon hearing my admission, the crowd felt justified in their assault against me. Yet I continued, however, I intended for my sister, who is new to class, to pass it to Jiang Xuanji. Since you all know now. Gritting my teeth, I retrieved the letter from the trash, slightly bowed, and extended it towards Jiang Xuanji with both hands. Jiang Xuanji, I like you. Would you be my friend? Instantly, the classroom erupted in a cacophony. So it turns out Du Qianqian is the one who likes Jiang Xuanji. She's been living the life of an heiress. No wonder the signature was from the Du family heiress. What a misunderstanding. Even students from the neighboring class rushed over to witness the spectacle. What is happening? Someone is confessing. Come and see. The room was soon packed to capacity, and Jiang Xuanji's face turned crimson, reaching down to his neck. The surrounding crowd began to chant, say yes. Say yes. Meanwhile, Du Ishue slammed her hand on the table, shouting, "Be quiet. It's not like that. You wrote this letter to humiliate me, Jiang Xuanji. She doesn't truly like you. Don't be deceived." Those unaware of the situation began to ponder. What is Du Ishue doing? Is she trying to draw attention to herself? Jiang Xuanji, hearing her words, looked at me in astonishment. In a bid to prove my sincerity, I even tugged at his tie, leaning in to plant a gentle kiss on his left cheek. Immediately, his face flushed even deeper, resembling a boiled crab, the kind that emits steam. The classroom erupted once more. Du Ishue stared at me in disbelief. Du Qianqian, what are you doing? Are you a rogue? Ignoring her, I fixed my gaze firmly on Jiang Xuanji. What do you say, Jiang Xuanji? He hesitated, stammering, I need to think about it. Shortly thereafter, our class's commotion attracted the teacher's attention, who learned that I was the source of the disturbance. Consequently, I was summoned to the office to write a reflection, with the teacher repeatedly advising me to focus on preparing for the college entrance examination and to avoid romantic entanglements. I could only nod through my tears, feeling helpless. I had no choice but to fight fire with fire. After this incident, Du Ishue returned home, declaring her desire to never set foot in school again. She insisted on studying at home, preparing for the entrance exam independently. Unable to sway her, my parents hired several private tutors for her one-on-one lessons. I also received a reply from Jiang Xuanji. Good luck on the college entrance exam. Let us meet at the pinnacle. The implication was clear. He was likely rejecting me, emphasizing the importance of studying. I sighed in relief. With Du Ishue's decision to refrain from attending school, I hoped that the bizarre instances of campus bullying would cease to occur. I cast a worried glance at Du Yifan, uncertain whether that incident could ever be altered. In the tense atmosphere of study, the college entrance exam swiftly approached its conclusion. Despite spending 18 years in the Du household, I was not cut out for academics, scoring only 390 points, making it exceedingly difficult to enter a public university. In contrast, Du Ishue excelled, achieving a remarkable 706 points, securing a spot at Tsinghua or Peking University, and even receiving an invitation to visit. My parents were elated, and even my brother displayed a hint of admiration towards her. At that moment, I genuinely felt a pang of envy. I pondered how my future path would unfold in this world had those absurd events not transpired, hoping for a joyful and smooth journey ahead. As I mulled over my future life plans, Jiang Xuanji unexpectedly sought me out, sitting in my living room with review materials while my mother smiled and poured him tea. How did you only score 390? That's insufficient for most second-tier universities. You'll have to repeat the year. I offered an awkward smile. Nearby, Du Ishue scoffed. She's clearly not cut out for studying. She will never repeat. Du Ishue cast a disdainful glance my way, and then her thoughts began to spiral. Calculating the time, Jiang Yifan's finals are fast approaching, and she's busy plotting against him in the race. Though she pretends to give her all, he will ultimately meet his demise. Upon uttering this, the atmosphere in the living room fell silent. Indeed, I shook my head in refusal. Thank you, Jiang Xuanji, but I will not be repeating. It would be a waste of time for me. This prompted my mother to inquire, what do you plan to do then? Attend Yifan's finals? I wanted to shake my head, yet inexplicably, my body refused to move, and I could not utter a sound, only managing a resigned smile. That smile sent chills down everyone's spine, as if a Grim Reaper had come to declare Yifan's fate. My mother's eyes glistened with unshed tears, and Yifan bowed his head in silence, leaving everyone in a state of heavy contemplation. In the early hours before Yifan's race, I stealthily entered the garage, my body uncontrollably loosening several crucial screws in the racing car. Once I exited that pivotal location, I finally managed to retrieve my phone, which had been recording a video in my pocket, and posted it in the family group chat. According to the plot, Du Ishue would access the surveillance footage that morning to expose this matter to Yifan. Ever since I discovered that I lost control of my speech whenever key plot points were triggered, I decided to leave, avoiding futile arguments in front of them. Ultimately, Yifan chose to trust me, his sister of over a decade, driving the compromised car to the race. In the end, Yifan's demise would serve as irrefutable proof to the Du family that I was indeed a duplicitous, ambitious antagonist. Yet now, before tragedy struck, I sought to salvage the situation. I quietly departed from the Du family villa, stopping by the roadside to indulge in a few beers, inadvertently colliding with several public facilities. As dawn approached, the police finally apprehended me. The Du family had spent the night in anxious wakefulness, and in the morning, Du Ishua indeed presented evidence that unraveled the situation. Although I was merely a mobile blood bag raised by the elderly Du couple, they had genuinely regarded me as their own daughter over the years. I never anticipated that I would find myself in such a predicament. Du Mama wept inconsolably, and Papa spoke up, Yifun, given the circumstances, it's best you skip today as finals and stay home. With his head bowed in silence, Du Yifun glanced at his phone, discovering the video I had recorded in the family group chat. Clenching his fists, he declared, Mom and Dad, rest assured. I will prove to you that Qian is not that kind of person. With that, he headed to the garage and drove away, no one daring to stop him. At the competition venue, Du Yifun, following the footage I had recorded, was the first to address the loose parts, insisting on multiple inspections by professionals. He meticulously documented evidence in video format, sharing it in the family group. This was to be his final race, and the factors contributing to his injuries extended far beyond mere equipment issues. Despite the foreboding fate that awaited him in this race, he felt compelled to participate. After all, he was Du Yifun, and this was one of the few dreams associated with his identity. The competition was fierce, and Du Yifun poured every ounce of effort into navigating the track. Just as he was about to cross the finish line, the engine suddenly sputtered and ignited, revealing a brake failure. If he could not halt in time after crossing the finish line, he risked a fatal rollover. In the blink of an eye, with approximately 100 meters remaining, he deftly maneuvered the steering wheel, veering off the main track, allowing the roadside sand and gravel to finally bring his car to a halt. Miraculously, Du Yifun survived, yet the spectators lamented, oh dear, how could he have veered off in those last 100 meters? Perhaps Du Yifun deliberately chose to create a splash, ensuring that the audience would remember him in this manner, something we shall discuss later. In that moment, Du Yifun felt that whether or not he secured first place was of little consequence. He was the first to reach the finish line, unscathed. And he returned home without a shred of regret to take over the family business. I was detained for a week, and upon my release from the police station, the Du family, including Du Ishua, awaited my arrival. My parents seemed somewhat distant, yet my brother Zhang Yifun still helped me with my belongings, just as he always had. Once in the car, my parents addressed me, Qian, your brother will be returning home to manage the company, and you need not accompany him any longer. You are now of age and can live independently. We have purchased a house for you outside. You may express any desires you have. It was evident they wished to push me away. I had anticipated this conclusion, yet tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. For their care for me throughout my life had been sincere. Seeing me cry, Du Ishua thought to herself, she clearly doesn't want to leave, after all. Where could be better than being the cherished daughter of the Du family? Even if she had shared that video in the family chat, she still damaged my brother's car. And the fact remains that she attempted to harm him. No one can change that. Listening to Du Ishua's inner thoughts, no one had anything to say. I finally spoke softly. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for your nurturing. I apologize for the incident concerning my brother's race, but in this world, many matters are beyond my control, especially in your presence. These were my heartfelt words, uttered to protect these kind souls and to fulfill a small wish of my own. I continued, if possible. I wish to study abroad, to live in a different place and not return. Mom, Dad, brother, and sister, you may visit me whenever you wish. Would that be acceptable? After a moment of silence, the Du couple and Zhang Yifun ultimately acquiesced. Epilogue 1. I am the true daughter raised in the mountains. Having subsisted on the kindness of many, working tirelessly from a young age, gathering firewood and making hay, the villagers collectively supported my education from primary school through high school, and I strived diligently in my studies. Eventually, several police officers from the city found me, conducted a DNA test, and revealed that I was actually the daughter of a wealthy family. I was overjoyed, as this meant I could finally escape the burdens of labor and study, and I could provide significant financial assistance to the villagers who had supported me. Subsequently, I was brought to the city, and upon my first glimpse of the Du family's grand villa, a plethora of narratives flooded my mind. It turned out that the world we inhabited was a book, and Du Qianqian was the most malevolent antagonist within it. She would feign vulnerability at home to bully me and employ various tactics at school to isolate and ostracize me. Everything unfolded according to the script. It felt so real and inescapable that I believed it was destined to happen. Each day was filled with anxiety and fear. Yet, as the conclusion unfolded time and again, my concerns evaporated, and Du Qianqian managed to turn every threat into a triviality, causing me to question the authenticity of this world. Once, she asked me why I always perceived her as a villain. I found the question puzzling. Were Du Qianqian not a villain, I would not harbor such disdain for her. Yet the plot remained unchanged. She consistently acted, only to later rationalize her actions inexplicably, which made no sense at all. However, in the end, the dire incidents I feared did not transpire, and everyone remained safe and sound. Though I ultimately did not become the favored darling of the Du family, I pondered, why would I desire such a title? Growing up in the mountains, the villagers had doted on me, and I had already experienced the true essence of being cherished. Moreover, I could see that the Du family genuinely wanted to make amends with me. After the incident involving Du Qianqian, to ensure the safety of my brother, my parents compensated her and expelled her from their lives, never to mention her again. Conversely, it became a habit for my brother and me to occasionally reach out to Du Qianqian. I heard she had married Jiang Xian abroad and had a child, planning to settle permanently overseas. My parents no longer held grudges about the past and would occasionally take my brother and me on trips to see her. Yet she always declined, claiming she feared triggering the plot. Epilogue 2. I am Jiang Xian, the top student in my class. On the day I met the new student Du Yixue, I discovered that I possessed the ability to read minds. Listening to her stories felt strange and absurd. Yet events unfolded precisely as she described. Could she possibly possess foresight? While she accurately predicted beginnings, the endings were always different, leaving me uncertain of whom to believe. Until Du Qianqian publicly confessed her feelings for me in front of a crowd, even kissing me in broad daylight, I merely wished to distance myself from the two sisters. It was utterly implausible. Regardless of the truth, I had to focus on my studies and not squander years of hard work. In the end, I was admitted to Qingbei University, while Du Qianqian, that foolish girl, scored only 390 points, barely qualifying for a second-tier school. When I was preparing my study materials to assist her, I overheard Du Yixue's next prophecy. This one pertained to life and death, and I began to worry for Du Qianqian. Would she truly act on it? I watched Du Yifun's race from the stands. He was initially the first to reach the finish line but deviated from the track, failing to cross the finish line. In that moment, I understood that this might be true. Just as I feared for Du Yifun's safety, he miraculously survived and told me, Qianqian is a good girl. There must be some special reason we do not know, hence I trust her. I too believed that a girl brave enough to confess her feelings could not possibly be a villain. At the start of the new school year, I learned she had gone abroad for further studies. I seized the opportunity to become an exchange student in my sophomore year, pursuing my education in the same place where Du Qianqian resided. Upon seeing me, she teased with a smile. Oh, I've never seen the male lead pursuing the wicked female antagonist before. Have you missed me? I gently tapped her forehead. You must take responsibility for kissing me so passionately in front of so many people and then fleeing. The story concludes here. Thank you for listening. And until we meet again in the next tale.